This is problem number 7 on the practice problems for quest number 3. Simplify. A, square root of 16 minus 2 times 8. So do the multiplication first. That's 16. Subtract, we get 0. Square root of 0, we should know, is 0. Part B, square root of 27 minus 2 times 8. Same idea, multiply first. 27 minus 16 is 11. Square root of 11, we can't simplify that any further, so we stop. Part C, square root of 16 minus 3 times 9. Same thing, do the multiplication first. 16 minus 27. We subtract here, and we get negative 11. And then we say, well, there's a problem there. You can't have a square root of a negative, at least not at this point in our course. So we'll just go ahead and say it's not a real number. Although soon enough, when we talk about imaginary numbers, we will have a different answer to this question. Part D, square root of 16 minus 2 times 4. Multiply first. 16 minus 8. Do the subtraction. Square root of 8. Well, we've been stopping at this point in the previous parts, but we can go further here. We're going to split that up into a product. 4 times 2. And then the 4 comes outside, and the 2 stays inside. And we've got our final answer is 2 radical 2. Part E, negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 125 over 5. So we're going to do a lot of copying while we deal with the only part that we have any control over, and that's this square root. So look for a nice number that goes into 125. When I say nice, I mean a perfect square. So if you haven't found it yet, pause the video. But if you're ready, we'll just go ahead and write the answer. 125 is 25 times 5. Copying all of this. And the only thing that we can do now is take this 25 and bring it outside the radical. And the square root of 25 is 5. The other 5 is copied. I'm just going to highlight because there are a lot of 5s in this problem, and I want to make it clear which ones came from where. So the things that are the same color are just copied from each other. The only thing that really happened there was taking that circled green 25 and bringing it right down here out of the radical. Okay, so lots of 5s in this problem. Maybe we can cancel some of them. So next step, I'd encourage you always to do this, is when you have a problem like this, split it into 2 fractions. Negative 5 over 5, that's the blue and the green. And then plus or minus 5 radical 5 over 5, that's the yellow and the green. And now we can simplify these. That's really a negative 1. So yes, some 5s cancel, but you got to be really careful which ones cancel. That 5 is inside the radical. That one's not. They have no interaction with each other. It's these 5s that cancel. So this is plus or minus 1 radical 5. I didn't write the 1. Back up to part F. Negative 6 plus or minus square root of 72 over 12. Quite similar to part E. Lots of copying. Only thing we can do anything with at this stage is the 72. So pause the video and find the nice number that goes into 72. But if you're back, we'll write the answer is 36 times 2. Negative 6 plus or minus 12 down in the bottom. Everything copied. The only thing that happens here is the 36 comes outside the radical and becomes a 6. The 2 is still inside the radical. Just as before, we'll split this into 2 fractions. And then simplify each fraction separately. So we get negative 1/2 plus or minus. There's another 1/2 there, but I'm not going to write the 1. So it's just plus or minus radical 2 over 2. And that's our final answer. And I guess I should just say, be really, really careful as you're doing problems like this, because it might be tempting from the get-go to cancel, for example, the 6 and the 12 and just put a 2 down here. And you can't do that. because that 12 is also underneath the square root of 72. So that's why we always split it up. So don't fall into the trap of trying to cancel things early. Got to split it up before you cancel. Finally, part G. -1 plus or minus square root of 2 over 2. Okay, looking at the only thing that we have a chance of working with, that radical 2, is there anything we can do to simplify it? No, it's as reduced as it can be. So we're ready to jump to the splitting up step. So make this 2 fractions. And then can you cancel anything within either of those fractions? Well, I see a 2 and a 2. But again, anything inside the radical doesn't go with stuff outside the radical. So even though it looks like you might be able to cancel there, you cannot. This is our final answer.